Welcome back. Here's a bucket with spalted maple and green epoxy. The spalted maple was pulled out of the burn pit and rough turned about 6 months ago. Now for the tricky part. And that's how to get the epoxy and log out of the bucket. We'll have to do it the hard way and use a saw to cut the bucket. Just take your time and hold on tight. The saw will be quite the sticker and jump all over the place. 2 of 3 cuts should be enough. Then use a trusty pry bar to remove the bucket. Using tuck tape for epoxy isn't recommended because the plasticizers in the tape can interfere with the epoxy's curing process. A fun fact, however, is that some people use it to create molds for small projects. They will wrap the duct tape around an object to create a temporary mold. While this can work, it often leaves a sticky residue on the finished epoxy piece. Now just remove the bucket and let's see that green epoxy. It's always a surprise removing the bucket because you never know how it will turn out. Another historical fact about epoxy and wood turning is that the Gougen Brothers, Inc., a company founded in 1969, was a key innovator in developing epoxy systems for woodworking. They specifically created the West System products in 1971, which were designed to be used as an adhesive and coating for wood, paving the way for its use in wood turning and other woodworking applications. Now let's finish getting the faceplate attached to the log, and let's get this project set up on the lathe. It's time to have some fun. Let's start turning.
Woo!
First, we'll need to start the process of rounding over so that the entire surface is round and level. Be careful when turning epoxy. The epoxy will break loose and fly out like little glass shards that can cut you. Faster! One fascinating aspect of spalted maple is that the beautiful, dark lines and patterns that woodturners prize are actually caused by a fungal attack. These fungi, which are typically a combination of white rot and other decay fungi, create zone lines. As they compete for the wood's nutrients, the resulting patterns are unique to each piece of wood, making every spalted maple turning a one-of-a-kind work of art. Now I'll need to remove the top end, since it was not fully submerged in epoxy. Turning spalted maple can be a rewarding experience, as the unique patterns created by the fungi are beautiful. However, it also presents a number of challenges that woodturners need to be prepared for. Spalting is a process of fungal decay. This means that the wood is not uniformly dense. You will likely find areas that are still hard and sound, alongside areas that are soft, punky, or even rotten. This variation can make turning difficult, as your tools will react differently to each section, leading to inconsistencies, tear out, and a less than smooth finish. Now let's get this set up on the chuck to prepare to hollow out the pocket. Forstner bits are a specialized type of drill bit that are widely used in woodworking, including wood turning, due to their ability to create clean, precise, and flat-bottomed holes. They are distinct from other drill bits, such as twist bits or spade bits, in their design and the type of cuts they produce. Sometimes, if you're not careful, you can drill all the way through the bottom of the project. Now we'll need to get crafting if we want to save this project. No worries. I have some dried red oak boards that's been sitting around for such an occasion. Red oak is slightly softer than spalted maple. The Janka hardness scale is the standard for measuring wood hardness, and a higher number indicates a harder wood. Red oak typically has a Janka rating of around 1,290 lbf. Spalted maple, however, is not a specific species of wood, but rather any type of maple that has undergone a natural process of fungal decay, which creates its characteristic dark lines. The hardness of spalted maple, therefore, depends on the hardness of the original maple species. In general, it's safe to assume spalted maple will be similar to hard maple, which has a Janka rating of about 1,450 lbf. To put it in perspective, spalted maple is about 12% harder than red oak. Here I am, trying to make a pocket wide enough to stick the spalted maple into. Now that's a good fit. CA glue cures very quickly, especially when a catalyst accelerator is used. This is a huge advantage for wood turning, as it eliminates the need for clamps or long waiting periods. You can apply the glue, and within seconds, it's strong enough to continue working on your piece. Now let's set it back up to get a rough shaped turn in. Since the CA glue is still curing, I'll use the top end that was cut off to help block in the spalted maple against the red oak. This way, there's plenty of pressure to turn and still keep this project moving along. Let's go over some wood turning current events. The AAW, American Association of Wood Turners International Wood Turning Symposium was a major event in June, held in St. Paul, Minnesota. It featured over 80 demonstrations from global wood turners, a trade show with new equipment, and exhibitions of turned art. Virtual options were also available for many demonstrations. Now let's pour in some epoxy to fully bond the spalted maple into the red oak. Epoxy forms an incredibly strong bond that is often stronger than the wood itself. When bonding two different species, which may have different densities, grain structures, and expansion-contraction rates, a powerful adhesive is crucial to prevent the joint from failing under the stress of turning. Now let's finish out the final pocket. I'll use a 4-inch bit to get the maximum pocket size I'm after. When wood turning a vase or bowl, a variety of basic shapes are used to create the final form. These shapes can be combined and modified to produce unique and aesthetically pleasing pieces. A simple, straight-walled shape with a constant diameter from top to bottom. It is a fundamental shape, often used as a starting point for more complex designs. Now let's get this flipped around and set up on a flat jaw attachment. This is so we can get the foot cut out on the bottom, since we were using a faceplate originally. The foot of a turned bowl or vessel is the part that sits on the table. A well-designed and properly turned foot is crucial for a piece's stability and aesthetic appeal. Now let's flip this around for the final shaping. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this project, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more woodworking content. We love hearing from you, so let us know what you think in the comments below. Happy turning, refining the exterior. With the vase still on the lathe, use your turning tools like gouges and scrapers to achieve the final smooth curves and lines of the exterior. The goal is to get the shape as perfect as possible before you begin sanding, as this will minimize the amount of sanding you have to do. Sanding is crucial for achieving a smooth, professional-looking surface. It's often done in a series of steps with progressively finer grits of sandpaper before applying any finish. Make sure the vase is completely free of dust. You can use an air compressor, a tack cloth, or a lint-free cloth dampened with a little mineral spirits. I always like to water pop at least one time in between sanding grits. In essence, water popping is a way to get all the bad stuff out of the way before the final finish is applied. By intentionally raising and then removing the troublesome wood fibers, you ensure that the final coat of finish will lay down smoothly, providing a beautiful and professional result. For most turns, I'll start with 80 grit sandpaper and then work up to 340 to 400 grit sandpaper. Rubbing a lacquer finish into a wood turning project is a technique that can produce a beautiful, durable, and highly polished surface. This method, often called French polishing for shellac, is a variant of that process and is quite popular for smaller turned items like pens, bottle stoppers, and small bowls. The basic principle is to apply a very thin coat of lacquer, allow it to tack up, and then rub it into the wood's pores and grain. This process is repeated multiple times, building up a thin, hard finish that is incredibly smooth and glossy. Rubbing in a handmade friction polish is a critical final step in finishing a wood-turning project. After applying the polish, which is often a mixture of ingredients like shellac, oil, and wax, the turner uses a cloth to vigorously rub the piece while it's still spinning on the lathe. This action generates heat from the friction, which melts and works the polish into the pores of the wood. This process not only cures the polish quickly, but also creates a deep, lustrous shine that highlights the natural grain and beauty of the wood, resulting in a durable and smooth finish. Take your time in this step to really work the polish in. You'll notice the shine really starts to pop and shine after just a couple coats. Now let's get this project off the lathe. The spalted maple's delicate drama meets the solid strength of red oak, all unified by a vibrant river of green epoxy. It's a preserved moment in time, ready for its new home. Let me know what you think in the comments. What colors would you choose? Thanks for watching. Have a good day.